Welcome back everyone, it's Alex here, and today we're going to be reviewing another chapter of Chainsaw Man Part 2, which is surprisingly one of the most mind-boggling chapters we've had in a while, full of a lot of plot inconsistencies and timing of events that I will admit it is a bit confusing, but also the most important moment between Denji and Nayuta's relationship so far, and we get more of a look to Denji's mentality right now and the way that he's thinking. Getting into the chapter, it picks up with Denji standing in the aftermath of his battle against Sugo and the other hybrids, and as he basks in his victory, as everyone looks on in horror and disbelief on their faces, we see that Sugo, the sword hybrid's final strike on Denji, wasn't in vain, as Denji begins to spit out blood and fall to his knees. And as this is happening, Nayuta is processing the hurtful words that Denji said in the last chapter, of Denji not wanting to be a part of the family that they built together, since the end of the first part of the series. And as this is actually happening, we see a group of devil hunters who were called in by the random civilian in the last chapter have arrived, but instead of being a part of public safety, who's the main force responsible for dealing with the devils in Japan, the mob is made up of a militia of civilians who've likely lost all trust in public safety and are likely trying to keep the order, since public safety is likely still dealing with the aftermath of thousands of people turning into Chainsaw Man across Japan, which is being somewhat confirmed by one of the members in the militia in this chapter that I'll touch on soon. Now, one thing that's throwing me off by this is the timing. Like, how was the militia able to form so quickly after a society-destroying attack like that actually took place? Because, mind you, in Chainsaw Man, it takes place in 1999 before cell phones became what they are now, and social media was really a thing. So, how would they get the word out to this many people without the use of, well, sirens and public announcements on television? It kind of seems a bit too soon. But in any case, we see that the militia is closing the area off and advising all these civilians that are there to evacuate from the area. And one of the members of the militia throws a net on top of Denji, which actually does incapacitate him. Which I'm sure is meant to be a funny moment, considering then when the international assassins in the first part of the story use all kinds of means to try and capture Denji, even making a contract with a primal fear, and they still lost. But a net was able to take them down with no problem. Yeah, this is definitely meant to be more of a funny moment than something that should just be taken literally. And Denji, not understanding the position that he's in, questions the crowd why they're doing this, seemingly forgetting that Chainsaw Man, for as loved as he was in the beginning of the second part of the series, is now one of the most hated devils in the world, and for good reason. And despite Denji indirectly saving a group of people that were there, and Fumigo making a weak attempt to try and clear Denji's name, the people who were there are still terrified of him and can't get past their fear of him. And when you think about it, you can't exactly blame them, especially with how brutally Denji defeated other hybrids like a true devil, like a true madman. Even though Denji verbally says he's on the human side, the man who's wearing a beanie who heard this proceeds to stab Denji multiple times with a spear because of the atrocities that the other Chainsaw Men did to his family and likely the families of the other people in this militia, and proceeds to pour gasoline on Denji, ready to kill him by lighting him on fire while stabbing him repeatedly with spears. And the unit begs the man to stop, considering that he wasn't a part of the other Chainsaw Men that terrorized the world, and that, well, he's the real Chainsaw Man. He had nothing to do with that situation. But the man simply states that's more of a reason to kill Chainsaw Man, considering that it's possible that by killing the real Chainsaw Man, maybe he'll turn his wife, along with the other people that turned into Chainsaw Men, back to humans. And this scene is pretty important because it lets us know that public safety didn't kill all the people that turned into Chainsaw Man, and were able to safely capture some of the Chainsaw Men. And knowing public safety, they likely aren't keeping these people around in the hopes of making them human again, and maybe to use them for their own plans, and it makes me question, what purpose they might have in the future of the story. And if Denji will be the one who will be able to make all the people who were turned into Chainsaw Man by the Fire Devil back into human, or play a part in it in some way. Or maybe, they'll just be used in the final fight of the series against the Death Devil if the Death Devil is the final villain. In any case, the beating man smacks Nayuta to the ground, pushing her away. Despite not caring about Nayuta in the last chapter, Denji does proceed to try and defend her, but shows a strong level of restraint against these people, because despite it being very easy for Denji to butcher all these people, despite his injuries, he knows that Nayuta is watching, And if he were to kill all these people, it would really go against everything that he's taught Nayuta, or at least he's tried to teach Nayuta about the importance of being human, the importance of a human life. It shows to some level, even though Denji has always acted as someone who doesn't care about the welfare of people when he's being Chainsaw Man, in this moment where you would say it's reasonable for him to snap on these people, well, I mean, if he did that, he would only be proving the worst fears right, which is something that he doesn't want, but it would also be him turning against his own humanity, feeling himself. And as all this is going on, the people proceed to keep stabbing Denji with the spears, calling out for someone to bring a ladder, with Denji joking that they could just use a big fire that's bringing down his apartment to set him on fire. And a woman grabs Nayuta, pulling her away from the situation, despite the things that Denji has said to Nayuta. After seeing him get stabbed over and over again, she no longer sees Denji as Chainsaw Man, but as Denji the human, and controls the woman who pulled her away to attack the man with the beating, giving Denji an opening to escape from the situation, and that is how the chapter ends. Let me know, guys, what do you guys thought of this chapter down below, and what do you think Denji will do next? Because, I mean, I'll be honest here, he doesn't really have anywhere to run. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.